Hey team, hope you had a great weekend and enjoyed your time. We have a good analysis coming up here on Aussie-US dollar, but before we get into that, I just want to mention something quick. Now, things have been going good. We've been making pips, and I'm getting a lot of really nice DMs from you guys saying, hey Dave, thank you and your team. I made 20% last week. I made 40% last week. I made 30%, 35%. Guys, if you're making 40%, 20% in a week, your risk management is off, okay? And that's a big problem. This game is about proper entries, psychology, and risk management. Those three things combined is what makes a successful trader. So if you're one of those people who made 10, 20, 30, 40% last week, I really need you to focus on your trade management and your risk settings. All right, Aussie-USD, let's get into it. All right, Aussie-USD, starting on the monthly, as usual, we're looking for horizontal area sensitivity, okay? So after we identify horizontal sensitivity, what do? That's right, we add our monthly zone. All right, we added our monthly zones. Let's talk about flow so we can understand what this time frame is telling us. Now, here we see strong push to the downside. Now, the main thing I noticed on this push is it broke right through our monthly mid-range zone. It really didn't respect the zone. But then price came to a halt at zone 3. Buyers entered the market, not allowing price to go any lower. So this tells me that zone 3 is a very well respected zone, and there's a lot of buyers entering the market to make sure that price doesn't go below. So in summary, the monthly is telling me this: price is going to have a hard time breaking below zone 3. So maybe on the lower time frame we're going to be looking for an entry long. So let's do just that, take it to the lower time frame. On to the weekly. First thing we do is we find our weekly zones. We did just that. We identified higher lows, so we added our uptrend. So we added our weekly zones, and what do? That's right, we try to make sense of things. So again, here's that monthly strong push to the downside. We see price try to break to the downside once, twice, failed, came back for exhaustion. We then see a standard continuational push to the downside, and what I really notice is this strong pin bar close. This is price trying to break to the downside and buyers saying, no, we're not going to have any of it. We're moving you right back to the upside, which is why we see this pin bar close. So in summary, the weekly is confirming my analysis on the monthly. Our monthly bottom zone is extremely strong and respected by buyers. Buy sensitivity will continuously enter the market at our lower monthly zone, meaning maybe it's worth it to look for a long trade. So let's take it down another time frame. All right, we've taken it to the daily. We added a downtrend because we see lower highs. So now let's identify flow. We see strong move breaking our downtrend to the upside, and any strong move breaking an area of importance is considered a push. Now, what's after a push? Yeah, that's right. You guys already know exhaustion to retest not only what was our former downtrend, but also our monthly bottom zone. So for those of you who've been following me for a long time or have been members for a long time, you know this flow, right? When we see a push and an exhaustion, what's next? That's right, a continuational push to the upside. So here we have push, exhaustion, what's next? Potentially continuational push to the upside. So now let's take it down another time frame to see maybe we have a good entry to the upside. Onto the 4 hour, we identified area sensitivity with our downtrend and lower highs. Now what we're really trying to accomplish here is try to identify area of importance so that we know if price breaks, whether it's to the upside or to the downside. That gives us a lot of information as to who has control over the market. All right, so as usual, now let's identify and summarize what this time frame is telling us. Well, we know that price is going to see buy sensitivity if it tries to break to the downside. So really any short trade I don't really want to touch. So now that we know we're only looking for an entry long, what's the next area of sensitivity? That's right, what we identified as our 4 hour downtrend. So this is an area of significance, meaning that if price breaks to the upside, we know that there's not enough sell sensitivity keeping price within this range. So this would be considered a push. We wait for exhaustion and entry to the upside. So we're still on the 4 hour, and your trade is going to look like this. We're going to stay patient. We're going to wait for price to break its 4 hour downtrend to the upside. This is an area of significance, and price will likely find its first area of sell sensitivity at our weekly lower zone, and this is where exhaustion is likely to begin. Now, we enter on completion of exhaustion at price action confirmation, we go long. So when we take it back to the monthly, what we're really looking for is price to play within its mid-range and lower monthly zone. If price moves the way we need it to for an entry long, we're simply going to be capitalizing on this long move to retest our monthly mid-range zone. Now there's only a couple scenarios that would make this trade invalid. Let's say price fails to break this 4-hour downtrend to the upside. That tells me there's a lot of sell pressure, meaning that price won't have the buy sensitivity it needs for that next move to the upside. Now the next situation, although very low in probability that would make this trade invalid, is if price breaks this 4-hour downtrend to the upside and fails to come back for an exhaustion and continues to the upside. This means that our entry becomes no longer optimal. This trade becomes invalid. Now, as most of you know, on 75% of the entries I give you, I always tell you to move SL to entry once TP1 has reached, and that's especially important on this trade because price, as we know, has sell sensitivity at our weekly mid-range zone, which is highlighted by this yellow zone. So that's where exhaustion will begin, and price may find a second wave of sell sensitivity at its second touch. So after price reaches TP1, we move SL to entry because price may find its second wave of sell sensitivity. But if price does break this weekly zone to the upside, you can be sure that we're going to be heading to TP2 and maybe we'll be adding some orders to our trade. Have a great day, team. I'm looking forward to another solid week.